Hi everyone! I'm still not feeling all that great this week and I've been signed off work for another week, so apologies if I don't sound that great, but today I am going to be going through my craft supplies, so things for scrapbooking and card making and just anything else that happens to be stored in the boxes along with those things. I kind of got into card making just kind of randomly. One day I was in the supermarket and I decided to buy a magazine, and I was looking through the magazines to see what they had, and there was one about card making, and it had a kind of pack that came with it that had some cards and envelopes and different kind of embellishments that you could put on it, and I thought that seemed like quite a fun idea, so I picked it up, looked through it, and I quite liked some of the cards that they made, but then there were some of the ones that they were making in the magazine which were more complicated than what you could make with the pack that came with it, and so I started to pick up more and more supplies, got some more magazines, then I started to go to the craft shop. The biggest one that's round about me is Hobbycraft. So I would go in there and then I would pick up more supplies from there. There's a big craft exhibition twice a year at the SECC in Glasgow, so I went to that once. I picked myself up a big die cutting machine. It was the Grand Caliber die cutting machine, and I got loads of other supplies when I was there. Started watching the Create and Craft channel, where you get to see all the things that they're making, and then they sell the supplies that they used to make these things. Bought some stuff off there, and before you know it I've just got all this stuff which I never planned on buying in the first place, and it all just started with buying one magazine about card making. So now I've got a couple of big boxes and various other things that go along with that, and I feel like I really need to go through that and see if there's anything that I can cut back on. I did start out making a few cards for people, and I've made them for special occasions, that kind of thing. There's a part of me that thinks, you know, I don't really make cards on a regular basis, so maybe I should just let go of all this stuff, try and sell it. But then there's another part of me that thinks, if I'm going to be moving away to basically as far away as I can get from everyone that I know, then it would be really nice to hold on to this stuff and to make cards to send home to people, because then that's a bit more special than just sending an email to people, or, you know, even when you're talking to them on Skype. It's quite nice to get a personal thing sent to you from somebody that they've made. So I think it'd be quite nice to hang on to the card making stuff, or at least the better card making stuff, so that then I can make things and send them home to people. So that's my plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything together and put it on the floor in the lounge. Oh, I'm filming in my lounge today. If you haven't noticed, I'm sitting by my Christmas tree, which is in the window of my lounge. The weather hasn't been great today. It's kind of been raining and windy, and it can get quite noisy up in my bedroom because we've got a skylight, so I decided to film in the lounge instead because it's a bit quieter and you can get to see my Christmas tree behind me. So anyway, yes, I'm going to get everything, put it on the floor in the lounge. The one thing I'm not going to get out is my die cutting machine, because it's big and heavy, and when I looked for it, it's in its box on a shelf in a wardrobe with stuff piled on top of it, and I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be keeping it, so it just seems like a hassle to pull it out just to have to put it back again. So I'm just going to leave it, but if you want to look it up, it's the Grand Caliber die cutting machine. So that's it, and I will just get everything ready now. So this here is my pile of stuff that I use for card making and scrapbooking, and then there's just some other random stuff in there as well. So as you can see, I have a guillotine here. I use this for this stuff for my Etsy store as well. So I make things like bookmarks, and I'll print them out on a big A4 sheet, and then I cut them to size using this, and then I'll use it for card making and stuff as well. I did have another paper trimmer, and I've already got rid of that. So that's one thing that I have already decluttered, even though it's not the KonMari method. I've kind of been deviating from KonMari method, and just as I see things, then I've just been kind of getting rid of them. But anyway, on top here there are various packs of papers and some other random things. A couple of boxes. This one has lots of different things like dyes and stamps and acrylic blocks and glitter and glue and just tons of random things. And the one underneath that is mostly like card and paper and envelopes, greeting cards, stamps, that kind of thing. I have a cutting board, I suppose you would call it. Can't remember, there's probably a more technical term for it than cutting board. This is for a scrapbook, the only scrapbook that I've actually intended to make, and I bought this for it. As you can see, I started to do the front of it, and I've not actually done anything with the inside of it. And I actually planned to do the scrapbook before I even went to my workshop, and then I did nothing with it. And then over here is just some random stuff that I picked up at one of my more recent trips when I went to Hobbycraft, and it's just not made it into any of the boxes. So things like glue dots and clear foam pads. These were actually to go with the clay that I sorted through in my art supply declutter, and I kept the clay, so I will be keeping these. These, as you can tell, they were used for the front of the scrapbook. And then I bought these papers to use in the scrapbook. So I guess what I'll do now is try as best as I can to look everything out and put it on the floor, and then show you what it looks like. So now that it's on the floor, it's even more than I thought it was. I was going to try and spread it out so that you could properly see everything, but it's actually just impossible to do that because there's just too much stuff. So I've kind of had to pile things up. So over in the corner here, that's basically all papers. And then you come down here into cards. I've got a scoreboard there. These are just some kind of random bits and pieces. There's some CDs for making cards, some card making kits, my scrapbook. There are some punches, some little tags that you can use if you wanted to make your own gift tags. I seem to have a bit of a thing for stamps, so I mean this just goes on and on and on forever. Some of them came with magazines, some of them I bought. I do quite like working with stamps because I can kind of make the stamp, and then if I want to, then with certain designs I can colour them in, so I get to do the kind of arty part of it as well. So yeah, loads of stamps. And then this is all like different sticker embellishments, so I really like these little kind of 3D butterflies, kind of stick on gemstones, letters, that kind of thing. Ink pads to use with stamps. This I just use for cleaning my stamps, and I use that with this stamp cleaner. I've got this stick and spray for sticking the stamps onto either acrylic blocks or the rocker blocks that I've got. But to be honest, I think I prefer just the acrylic blocks, because I find the rocker blocks can sometimes slip and then your stamp just gets smudged. So I'll probably just get rid of the rocker blocks, to be honest. Back there is just kind of random bits and pieces of paper that are partially used, and I'm not really sure why I have so many of these. This was actually an image that I painted on the computer for Stephen's brother's wedding, because I wanted to do a card for the wedding. I painted him and his wife-to-be, and then I cut that out and stuck it on a card with various other things, and for some reason I have absolutely loads of these. I must have thought that it was going to go really wrong when I cut them out, so there you go, I have tons of them. Down here is loads of glue, glue dots, foam pads, that kind of thing, a couple of craft knives, various other bits and pieces, a couple of old cards that I obviously made at some point, and my guillotine. So now I just have to sort through this and figure out if there's anything I can get rid of. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. I basically got rid of nothing. So this is the pile of everything that I am keeping. And just to show you, this is the teeny tiny pile of what I'm getting rid of. So this is just a pile of papers where, you know, they've maybe been used for some things, or some of them are just like little scraps. And I've got so many papers that I just don't really feel like I need to hold on to the partially used ones. So I'm going to let all of them go. There's just a few embossing folders. I'm not really sure how best to use these kind of ones, so I'm just going to let them go. I think they were all like £1, so there's just 3 of those. A craft knife, because I updated it and bought a better one. These 2 glues both don't work anymore, so I'm going to just chuck them out. The rocker blocks, like I said, I find that they don't really work any better than the acrylic blocks. I find that they can sometimes slip and smudge my stamps. I sometimes also get the ink from ink blocks on the edges where it's supposed to rock, and then that ends up getting onto the paper as well, and then it might be too close to the stamp, and then I have to keep stamping over and over again to get one that actually works. So I'm just going to get rid of them. Sometimes I find that it's difficult with these as well to get the pressure equal when you're rocking it, so I just find it easier to just use a completely flat acrylic block, put it flat down, and then just press it all over. I don't know. Other people might find the rocker blocks are better, but they just haven't really worked for me. And then I decided to get rid of the few punches that I have, because they take up a lot of space for what they do, and to be honest, I haven't really been using them. I think these 2 I haven't used at all, and this one I've maybe used once. And again, I think I just got them because they were being sold for like £1 or something. So I'm gonna let them go, and basically everything else is staying. So yeah, that's a rather massive amount of stuff. A lot of it is consumables, things like glue and papers. So that is things that I can use up over time. I'm going to start trying to make more cards, I think. I won't make Christmas cards this year because I have Christmas cards that I need to use up. But I think I will start making things like birthday cards, try and think in advance what birthdays I have coming up so I can make the cards in plenty of time and then not be rushing at the last minute and think, oh well, I don't have time to make a card now, so I'll just have to go out and buy one. And then that way I can start using up some of these supplies. So there you go. So just to show you, I have sorted everything out and put it away, and this is what it looks like now that I've done that. There's a few things which weren't previously stored in these 2 plastic boxes which I've managed to put away now, so I will just show you in this top one here. I've managed to put away these couple of packs of paper, so there's a pack that's all different glittery ones, and then this pack underneath. And previously they were stored in these cardboard boxes, which would just sit on top of the plastic boxes. But now that I've cleared out a few things, I've been able to put them in there. So this box is just made up all of papers and envelopes. With these papers, obviously, I've put in the gift tags there, and then over on the right hand side, just because there was space down there, I've put in all my kind of glues, glue dots, and little things like, of course I can't find them now. Oh yeah, there they are. Like the wee kind of foam pads that you use for making things a bit more 3D. So that's everything that's stored in there, and then basically everything else just got put into the one underneath that. So that is all embossing folders and dies and stamps and stickers. Everything else is in that one at the bottom. I don't have room for the white card and the scrapbooking stuff. It's just too large. I don't have a box that's the right kind of shape to hold those things, so I might see if I can get a box that is just big enough to hold the few scrapbooking things that I have. I know that there are kind of thin square boxes that you can get that are designed for holding scrapbook papers, so I might see if I can get just one of those that will hold the small amount that I have, and then I will just stick to having a small amount at any one time. I'm trying to finish off this video, but my lungs just seem to decide that they just want to make me cough all the time. But anyway, that's me finished with my declutter of my craft supplies for card making and scrapbooking. I kind of knew that this was going to be a difficult task for me. I would kind of compare it to doing my art supplies, and I guess it's because making kind of crafty things is just one of the things that I really enjoy doing. And I kept looking at things while I was going through the process, and I would think, oh, you know, that's really cute, I can make something really nice with that. And, you know, I wouldn't have picked these things up in the shop and bought them if I didn't think that they were cute and that I could make nice things with them. So I kind of didn't think that I was going to get rid of a huge amount of stuff, and that turned out to be true. but it was still worth going through it anyway and just making sure that the things I had I was still happy with, and the things that I had worked. So I managed to get rid of a few things that I'd obviously bought upgrades for at some point, and then I hadn't actually got rid of the original. That's something that I think I'm probably quite bad for, is that I will upgrade something and then I'll just hang on to the original one. So I did that, and it was also useful to go through things like the glue and find that some of them actually don't work anymore, so I could get rid of those. Sorry, you can hear what my cough is like. So that's me finished with that for today. Let me know what you thought of the video. Is there any categories that you are really struggling with at the moment? I kind of feel like I'm reaching a point with this method where I'm not really sure what else I have to do. As I go through the house, I'm kind of running out of specific categories that I can put things into, and I'm kind of moving more into just doing things by area or just randomly as I come across stuff. Like for instance, the other day when we were putting up the Christmas tree, I was pulling down a box of ornaments, and there was just some exercise stuff that happened to be next to the box of ornaments. There was like an aerobic step, some ankle weights, some wrist weights, a skipping rope, a few other things like that. And I just kind of pulled them all out at the same time as I was taking out the decorations and put them in a pile to go to charity, because I thought, well, I don't really use these things and I don't think that I need them anymore. And I've kind of been doing that just randomly as I go along, and going back to old categories every now and then. For instance, I was taking out my Christmas stocking the other day, and it's stored in a bag, in a box with handbags, and I decided to go back and do handbags again, and I got rid of another 3 handbags from what I did in my video a few months ago. Trying to think, I'm sure there's some other things that have been done recently. I'm sure I mentioned in another video that I cleaned out the cupboard under the stairs. I also went and cleaned out the bottom part of my wardrobe just on one side and got rid of some stuff from there. And also with the Christmas decorations, we decided that whatever didn't go on the tree this year we would just get rid of, because there's certain decorations that we just don't really use and we just hang on to them because we have them. So we're planning to get rid of anything that we're not using. So that's kind of the way that things have been going at the moment. I will get back to you about what I plan to do in terms of more decluttering in the future, if I'm going to be continuing to do more KonMari method videos, or if I'll maybe just move to doing kind of general videos where I talk about what I'm doing and what I'm getting rid of. Let me know what you thought of the video. If you want to see more videos, then please do subscribe. Give me your opinions. Do you think that there are more KonMari videos that you'd like to see? Is there maybe more categories that you could think of that I could be doing? Or would you be quite happy if I was to move to just doing kind of general decluttering videos? So give me your thoughts on that. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. I know that it was not a good declutter in terms of the amount of stuff that I got rid of. So maybe you don't think that it's a good video for that reason. I don't know. But anyway, I will see you next time. Okay, bye!